This episode is brought to you by Wise. Wise is the app for international people using money around the globe. With Wise, you can send, spend, and receive up to 40 currencies with only a few simple taps and save up to 55% compared to major banks. Plus, Wise won't add hidden fees to your transfer. Whether you're buying souvenirs with pesos in Puerto Vallarta or sending euros to tip your Colosseum tour guide, you know you're getting a fair exchange rate with no extra markups. Be smart. Join the 15 million customers who choose Wise. Download the Wise app today or visit wise.com. Learn more by visiting wise.com/US/compare. T's and C's apply. This episode is brought to you by Window Nation. It's September and the temperature has dropped. No better time than now to replace your old or builder-grade windows with custom-built, high-quality windows from Window Nation. Get the windows you want to protect and beautify your home and choose from over 1,500 styles and colors. Plus, installation crews finish the job in 1 day or less, so you can enjoy your cozy home with minimal disruption. And guess what? This month, you can buy 2 windows and get 2 free. And you can put 0 down, make 0 payments, and pay 0 interest for 2 years. That's right, you could pay nothing until 2027. You know what? Maybe I'll convince Greg to put a window in the studio. Because currently it doesn't have one, and that's like the only thing about it is like you don't know if it's daylight. Let's get some gorgeous windows in there. Colorado sunshine, baby. And don't wait. They've got a flash sale happening through September 30th. If you buy 2 windows, you can get 2 free, plus an extra 10% off, plus no interest for 2 years. Schedule a fast, free estimate now with Window Nation at windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
Today on CityCast Denver, Mayor Mike Johnston has spent 2 years revolutionizing the way Denver combats homelessness. Now, he's changing direction. So what does it have to do with the city's big budget shortfall? And was that shortfall his fault in the first place? Westward editor Patty Calhoun joins me to talk homelessness, the mayor, and the future. Plus, a couple of really great listener comments and a wild story about the man who might be our next governor. Today is Tuesday, September 30th. I'm Paul Caroli, and here's what Denver's talking about. Hey, I'm here with producer Olivia Jewell. Before we get to the show today, I'm here to remind you about our membership campaign. We are in the last week.
We're doing it. Home stretch.
And we really, really need your support now more than ever.
Please.
Because so many reasons. One, journalism. It's tough. Tough business.
It's kind of hard right now.
Tell them, Olivia.
You know, you guys have been reading the news. It's everybody says it's a dumpster fire, but we
imagine putting your head in it.
Imagine being the one who gets inside that dumpster and digs around. That's us. We're digging around in that dumpster. It's really hot and it's really stinky, and we're doing it for you every day.
I mean, jokes aside, seriously, this is a profession that is under threat.
Yes.
There was a story I remember earlier this year. I talked about with Patty. Westward editor Patty Calhoun had her on earlier this year, talk about this reporter in Grand Junction who got followed home by some weirdo, this TV reporter, and just like, what? That happens now.
It's a new story like this every day, and it's honestly really disconcerting being in this line of work.
Which is why we need your support. And the way to do it right now is to join as a member and become a neighbor. CityCast Denver Neighbors. This is a program about meaningfully engaging and connecting with your city and your neighbors. You get to become a part of a community with us.
Yeah, a lot of perks to doing this.
Tell them about it. Tell them about some of these perks.
I mean, you're going to get an ad-free podcast, which we've heard. Some people don't like ads. Crazy to me, but as someone who makes ads. But also, the highlight here, you're going to get an exclusive tote bag that says Neighbors Make Denver. And this is like a one-of-one time thing. Like this membership campaign is the only time you're going to get that tote. So really cool tote. And then also you're going to get invites to our neighbor meetups. So you're only going to get the invite and you're only going to get date and time and all that if you're a neighbor. And we just had one last month at Schoolyard Beer Garden. It was lit.
Incredibly fun.
We had so much fun.
Highlight of my summer.
Aw. That's so nice, Paul.
Yeah, I had a great time.
It was really fun. We had a lot of fun. It was so fun to hang out with you guys. And we're going to keep doing that. Like, if anything, we're just gearing up for more. So you got to join right now so you can get the invite. Because we actually have one coming up really soon. But we can't tell you the details until you become a member.
So join now, $10 a month or $100 for a year. If you want a bargain, that is a little bit cheaper, but
bargain.
$10 per month to join. You get that ad-free feed, you get the tote bag, and then the best thing, you get a sense of satisfaction from knowing you did something good for your city and for yourself because you help us stick around for the future. Plus, if you join now during this fall membership drive, you might be selected as a lucky winner of a $250 gift card to Bonanno Concepts.
Whoa!
So that's, great dinner out. Nice dinner
great.
out at Mizuna, Luca, one of these great restaurants those people have.
Yeah, I mean, that's worth it. If you win, that's a huge return on your investment. Just the math is math. And
it's
that's
kind of like you're making money.
That's girl math. Like, get in there. Come on. Come on.
Membership.citycast.fm. Join today. That's membership.citycast.fm.
Do it.
Westward editor Patty Calhoun, welcome back to the show.
Thanks so much.
So we got to start with this crazy story you all had today in Westward because it's almost, it's election season almost. I'm thinking about it. I'm excited about it. But there's this guy named Joshua Rodriguez who's been bouncing around. Can you tell this story? I want to talk about this.
Well, he has run for many, many, many things, and he has been caught by law enforcement, let's put it that way, for a variety of mishandled events. But now he has decided, although he's never won any of his other races.
Running for office.
He's running for office.
And caught by the police.
Exactly.
Yes, for crimes.
Yes, for actual crimes. He is now going to run for governor.
And we wish him a lot of luck.
It's a crowded field. I think it's 35 now.
There's so many Republicans. And so few Democrats.
He is a libertarian, let's be clear.
Oh, is that true?
Oh, yeah. He's a
Okay.
libertarian from
Okay.
Aurora.
It's the one Republican that jumped out. It seems like it's her race to lose is Barb Kirkmeyer, the Weld County state rep.
Who has a great reputation. She's got a few problems she'll have to deal with to be more popular on the early Trumpian support.
That's what I was thinking, too, is she's not super Trumpy.
No, well, she had been early. She'd been more Trumpy. She's got a few things, but she is such a good legislator. She is so responsive on the JBC. The big question is, has the Colorado Republican Party changed enough that she can make it out of the primary? And that's been the biggest issue, is that whack jobs had the advantage under the former Dave Williams, the former head of the Colorado Republican Party. But I think she's got a good chance. It looks like cooler heads will prevail, and the Republicans might have their best candidate since Bill Owens.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. If it does turn out to be her, I do think she would give both Bennett or Weiser an interesting challenge. That would be an interesting race, different than the ones we've had recently.
Heidi Ganahl, absolutely.
Yeah.
You would have intelligent conversation that would not involve furries in the elementary schools.
But would voters feel disenfranchised by that? I think that's the beat on the Democrats too. Bennett and Weiser, they're both, Weiser less so, because I heard, but I was going to say Bennett, I think people feel like he's out of touch. I think the Democratic base is not so happy with him. But what was it 2 weeks ago at the Denver Democrats, did you hear about this?
I'm not sure.
All the local candidates showed up that are running. They were going for support. And Weiser was there, Bennett was there. So this is the party officials, like precinct captains and stuff. And so Weiser gives a speech, huge applause. Bennett gives a speech, crickets.
Hard to know. Bennett also, I think, has more awareness around the state. He's made a point of going to every county every year. So I would think that will help. Of course, the population base isn't as strong out there. And this was an event in Denver. But no, there's no question any Republican will have a tough road to climb. But Democrats are too. We now have almost majority affiliation, unaffiliated.
Yeah.
It's almost 50% now, which means both parties have to really woo unaffiliated voters. And they've all left parties or never joined parties for a variety of reasons. But I think they're willing to listen to either side.
And maybe they're willing to listen to the the man who pled guilty to felony identity theft due to a mod drama on a neighborhood Facebook group, Joshua Rodriguez.
I know it's such. Joshua Rodriguez could be the guy. He would certainly liven things up.
He would.
I don't think we're going to have Well, let's see. If we have debates, the odds are good he wouldn't be in one of those. With 34
Right.
candidates, 35 candidates, they always limit who gets to debating time, and he wouldn't be in any major party debate. So,
Yeah.
But we'd love to hear him. Certainly, our reporter had fun talking to him, as did our lawyer reviewing the piece.
You're on something good when you got to send it to the lawyer.
And the lawyer just laughs.
Mhm.
This episode is brought to you by MultiPass. Founded by event hosts for event hosts, MultiPass makes it easy to sell tickets and memberships and find local events. MultiPass is proudly based in Denver and deeply rooted in the local event and creative scene. MultiPass is different. It has a unique community chat feature that unlocks post-RSVP. This helps attendees connect and engage. So find your new BFF or just someone who wants to grab dinner before a show. And if you're an events producer, cash flow issues are a thing of the past with MultiPass's same-day payouts. Plus, it has revenue sharing tools already built in, which automatically splits ticket revenue between producers, performers, and promoters. I always say this, MultiPass would have saved me some real headaches back in the day with my DIY organizing. You guys have it easy. MultiPass, they're good. MultiPass is designed to help everyone in the event ecosystem win, not just the platform. Learn more at multipass.com. That's multipass.com. Hey, it's Bree, host of CityCast Denver. At CityCast Denver, our mission is pretty simple. We strive to make our listeners more engaged neighbors because we believe that better neighbors make better cities. Every day we bring you the local stories, conversations, and tips that help make you feel more connected to Denver and the people and places that make this place feel like home. When you become a CityCast Denver neighbor, you're investing in that very mission. Your support allows us to keep covering the local issues that matter most to our communities, plus highlight the stories that make this city shine. And as a CityCast Denver neighbor, you get really great benefits like ad-free podcasts, a weekly email rounding up all the cool stuff happening that week, invitations to members-only events, and so much more. Like a tote bag, a really cute, cool tote bag that says you're a neighbor. And not that many people are going to have them, so you should sign up to get one. Sign up today. $10 a month or $100 a year. Save a little bit of money. Just go to membership.citycast.fm and join the neighborhood. Again, that's membership.citycast.fm. Sign up today to become a CityCast Denver neighbor. I'll see you there.
All right, let's get to the news. Governor's race, way, way, way far away. June is the primary to watch, June of next year. So the big story of the day is the budget. The city is in the middle of budget season, and the negotiations between the mayor, Mike Johnston, and city council are revealing lots of interesting things about different people's priorities and the direction the city is going, especially on homelessness, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I wanted to start with this Denverite story because it's really about the big picture of this shortfall the mayor's been talking about all year. $250 million shortfall over the next 2 years. Some people are blaming him. He's saying it's not my fault. This story really tried to get to the bottom of that. We both read it. What did you think?
This story really got to, it is a perfect storm where we could have steered in different ways at different points. The big picture is that so many cities are also facing this. Chicago, New York, billion-dollar shortfalls. So that people are in trouble coming out of the pandemic because of revenue shortfalls, because they're losing the federal money they had grown to count on during the pandemic. And that's certainly one of Denver's big problems. One of the narratives we've heard, which Kyle did a pretty good job of debunking, was that
Kyle Harris, the reporter
on this, is that that staffing had grown so much, the budget had grown so much under Hancock. And when you look at it, I think he came in at 7% a year. That it had grown in the last years at 17 to 19 with Hancock.
Yeah.
7% isn't that big, but it also means when you've got a cut, that's still a big chunk of change. So the question, we're coming out of the recession, our budget was growing, then we hit the pandemic. You've got 3 years really of Hancock in the pandemic. And then you've got Johnston who comes in and he's got the big issue with immigration immediately followed by migrants.
Yeah, well, homelessness immediately followed by migrants. And yeah, those are the two big spends, big priorities. But also that's what voters wanted him to do. I mean, maybe not on immigration, but on homelessness, that's what he ran on.
That was his major campaign thing. And remember, we had 16 people running initially. He kind of broke out of the pack with his promise that he would clean up the homelessness. He would get the encampments gone. And that's really what I think made him rise above Kelly Brough, that he would get the homeless. It would be in a way that Denver voters felt comfortable with, which is they weren't going to be locked up, but he would get the city cleaned up, however. And then almost immediately after that, within a couple months, we had the migrant situation, adding insult to injury.
And just to put numbers on it, because this is a nice thing that Kyle did. This has been a question for a while, is how much is this stuff actually costing? But Denverite reported that the Johnson administration estimates it spent a total of $87 million on new immigrant services in 23 and 24, and $57 million a year on homelessness. So in the 2 years of the administration, that's 57 times 2, 114, plus 87, we're at 201 or 202. I try not to do math on this show anymore, but it's against the $250 million shortfall. That's almost the whole thing.
The whole thing. And you've got the fact that we were counting on federal funds coming in, and that had been used to pay off some of those early bills, that you see where we wound up in this perfect storm. So the question is, what could we have done differently now? And what will we do differently going forward?
Well, his critics are saying he mismanaged the budget, that $250 million is his fault. He should have known this is coming.
Well, we know where he spent it. I mean, that is the thing, because the numbers are there, and he did spend it on these programs. But the question, as you say, what were the options? Not spending it, sending migrants coming to tickets back to El Paso. I mean, what were the options there? Could there have been more Band-Aid solutions that would have cost less?
Mm-hmm.
And I think everyone now in hindsight would probably say, yes, we definitely spent too much money. We could have done things cheaper.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen good ideas for how we could have done things cheaper besides pull up the drawbridge.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you talk to like some of the more conservative Denverites, or maybe straight up conservatives, they would point back at some of these votes that Denverites took in the last 15 years that increased taxes and increased the size of government and just made the budget bigger in general. So stuff about like the votes, we increased taxes for housing stability and mental health, new affordable college tuition. The climate office was a tax that we voted on ourselves. Homelessness response, sidewalks, recycling. Like it's quite a long list.
Yes, we have. Denver voters have voted to tax themselves more, have voted for more priorities, and you're going to see more problems coming down the pike. I spent a lot of time talking to people about the composting program, businesses that are panicking about how much that is going to add to their costs. A lot of people say, oh, it's not that big a deal. Well, if you've got a restaurant or another small business that is on the edge anyway, a slight increase in your costs could be it for profit margins.
Yeah, for sure. So,
and that's another thing, like the climate office, that they sound good, but they're big expenses that become bigger as revenues drop in businesses and in the government.
And then when there's a downturn economically, as we've seen, and a Republican president, you have to make some hard choices if you're the mayor.
And they're just going to get harder.
Speaking of critics, I do think we should talk briefly about this. Do Better Denver, the social media provocateurs who were a big thorn in the mayor's side for the last 2 years, with the very personal attacks and criticism of the mayor's spending on homelessness. They went dark last week for a few days, and then they reactivated their accounts with an apology to the mayor, which we just touched on very briefly on our Friday show. Have you been following this?
Definitely following it. What I'm trying to figure out is right now, we had a fake post come up shortly after Do Better Denver went dark, a fake come in. So until I really see evidence that this is all real, and if it's all real, will the tenor of that site change? Will there be more context on the different stories? I'm reserving judgment on some of it. I've gone on record before that if you are a podcast or you are an online publication, or really if you are Do Better Denver, you need a name who will take responsibility for what you're publishing.
Yeah.
You're here. I'm here. You take responsibility for what you say. And you do the best job you can. That doesn't mean you can't be negative. But you have to take accountability so people can reach out and try to explain.
Yeah, and I think that what I heard from some of the people who are very close to Do Better Denver, like some of these conservatives who have communicated with them offline, and who know who it is they say that anonymity is kind of a double-edged sword in that way. Like they like the safety, but it also means they don't have the backing of the bigger organization that would enforce rules like, you have to put your name on it, like you're talking about.
You might have the backing, but still it comes down to you personally. If they're threatening you personally, whether it's you with the backing of CityCast or me with the backing of Westward, it's you personally, and you are putting it on the line. I will say I thought the apology was a little weird.
How so?
Just going that far in the apology, but I'm going to pick up where I left off.
Yeah.
So that's why it didn't really ring true with the previous message about why I'm going off. Like that people had gotten messages that the person responsible for Do Better Denver just was beleaguered with another job and also was worried about personal attacks. So the personal attack maybe holds up when she's talking about apologizing to Johnston, but we'll see when we see if and when Do Better really starts posting.
Well, they've been posting a little bit, and I've noticed they have stopped calling the mayor Meth Camp Mike. That is a change. I have to say they've not done that anymore. I did notice there was an error in a post they put up today, and I replied to them, and I fact-checked them. So I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to go out. Yet? Not yet. And then I also wanted to share, I have been DMing them because I'm working on this other project that I'll talk about at some point. But I've been DMing with them, and I'm glad that they're responding because I'm grateful for the answers. And they told me after our Friday episode where I speculated based on some reporting that it was the Charlie Kirk assassination that helped change their thinking. And they said, quote, "I listened to the CityCast episode from today and y'all were spot on with what happened. Charlie's assassination really impacted me and I had to weigh the risks on my personal safety versus benefit of keeping the accounts. It was one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make. Ultimately, you can see what I picked, but going forwards, I am not going to play a part in the unnecessary divisiveness and hostility."
Good. I mean, the more critics, the better. As I said, I still think accountability, but if they respond quickly, albeit anonymously, to criticism or fact-checking, that's certainly a good step in the right direction.
I agree. I'm optimistic about it. I mean, they have their own critics, and I don't know. People have their own feelings about this account. It's very provocative.
Any account. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it. The level of discourse has become so much less civil than it used to be.
Yeah.
When you put up comments, people immediately go to their corners, often having nothing at all to do with what you've just written.
Yes.
And that certainly happened with Do Better Denver.
Yeah, or they'll pick out just a tiny little bit and be like, look at this. This is the thing.
My favorite was someone was criticizing us for writing about Pete's University Park closing. And they're like, and you even mentioned Colfax and it's miles from Colfax. And we're like, but the people who own Pete's University Cafe own restaurants on Colfax and said, we're closing Pete's in University Park so we can save the ones on Colfax. But that's just how bad people have their own.
Context collapse.
Yeah.
Weren't
and
interested.
that's why I think context is really going to be important with Do Better Denver. And let's see. Because it's hard. That's the reporting. There is someone in the middle of the street, then you have to figure out why. It's one thing to have a photo. It's another thing to figure out why that person's in the middle of the street.
To try to tell the bigger story. Okay, so let's talk about that bigger story, which is homelessness, which is, we've been talking about a little bit, the mayor's big priority. The new details from the budget is there's some changes that the mayor is making on this big project. One thing we know is he's closing a couple of shelters, the Comfort Inn and the Monroe Village Micro Community, which is like the tiny home thing. Although I think the hotels were cheaper and he ended up doing more of that. But that's an $11 million savings. You had a reporter out in Central Park where the Comfort Inn was. What do we know about that closure?
Well, we know that partly it's the neighborhood has said we don't feel safe. We don't want this gone. But the city government has decided that you need to move away from the shelter model, and cut down days at the very least to get homeless individuals into more permanent housing. So that's the direction they're going. I still haven't parsed the numbers enough to figure out how is that actually cheaper when you see things like we bought the stay-in, which never opened and now is for sale for $10 for whoever would run it. So you really have to figure out where is this really cheaper? But right now, I think people are still happier to see that the encampments are gone, that the streets are clearer, although it's much more downtown than other areas that have seen that. As you drive down Broadway, you certainly see plenty of people hanging out in
a little
corners.
bit for sure. I mean, that stretch of in Civic Center Park too, there's a lot of people hanging out for sure.
So there are things to do still.
Yeah. I'm curious too about this, like fewer shelter beds leading to better outcomes, like doing more with less when it comes to providing more job support and addiction services. Because that sounds like the opposite of housing first, to be honest.
Right. Because we've had those services available before to people who want them. So now Is it going to be tied to whether or not you get one of those rare shelter beds? And if it is, where do they go if they don't accept the services?
Yeah.
Then sounds like it's back to the streets to me. So I guess what it really would have to be is how fast can you free up the fewer shelter beds by moving people into permanent housing or temporary permanent housing? And that just doesn't seem cheaper to me.
I agree. I mean, it sounds like spending more on fewer people. Like it would require, because these are the people that need the most help. This is the thing I talked to the mayor's director of communications about a couple of weeks ago around these changes. I was like, it sounds like you're moving in a very, different direction right now. And I don't understand it. And she was like, this is always the plan. From the beginning, this was the plan, because we know that the people who are the most resistant to help are the people that need this extra and different kinds of support. And it's more, you need to have custom situations. And so it was like, okay, well,
Well, and maybe it's because we've had these services, because we have, and they've been there being paid for without people taking advantage of them. We'll have to see how it really works out.
Yeah. Well, the other piece of this that I thought was interesting on Friday was apparently there was a big stir caused in the eviction defense community.
Because the money's gone.
Exactly. This is another Denverite report. Was, I guess, $9 million has been cut out of this eviction prevention support from the city, down from $23 million this year. And Community Economic Defense Project received a stop work order on Friday. So they had to literally stop what they were doing because there was no money. And instead they spent the whole day on the phone with city officials. Like, what's happening? Why
right.
can't
So
we
what
help
do you
people?
do? Their families waiting to find out if they're going to get this money so they won't be evicted. And unless the city has a plan on where to put them, which seems less likely because we're going to have fewer shelter beds, temporary housing, that just speaks for more people on the streets.
It seems that way, right? And this is this eviction defense, it also seems like there's more of a need than ever because we're looking at the numbers and it looks like we're going to break records again this year with evictions.
Well, and partly that's because now landlords can evict. We had the stay for a while during the pandemic and people might have gotten used to it, or their jobs aren't paying any better than they used to. So there are challenges ahead. And the big challenge will be, I'm jumping over, but how are people going to feel about Vibrant Denver, the bond measure? Are people, even though this isn't immediate spending coming from the city general fund, it's money.
Yeah, I know this is your theory. I still disagree with you. I still think people are going to end up voting for it just because they want the projects. And they can say no new taxes when they're selling it, the city people I'm talking about.
This episode is brought to you by Cozy Earth. When it comes to bedtime, our 4-year-old is constantly trying to get in bed and sleep between me and my husband. And while we try not to relent, because if you know anything, kids have to sleep in their own beds if you want to have a sane and happy life, trust me. But sometimes we give in. So, how do you keep a kind of tiny queen-size bed comfortable with 2 adults and 1 wiggly kid in it? 2 words: Cozy Earth. These sheets are like sleep magic. The moment we hit those super soft pillowcases, it's lights out, baby. You can try Cozy Earth sheets risk-free right now with their 100-night sleep trial. Try them out. If you don't love them, you can return them, hassle-free. They also offer a 10-year warranty, but trust me, once you feel this level of comfort, you'll want it to last a decade. Head to CozyEarth.com and use code CozyDenver for 40% off. That's code CozyDenver, and you get 40% off. And if you get a post-purchase survey, please make sure to let them know you heard about Cozy Earth right here on CityCast Denver. Because your bed should be more than a place to sleep. It should be your happy place. Cozy Earth makes that possible.
Hey, I'm back with producer Olivia Jewel Love. Before we get back to the show with Patty, and she does have more funny things to say in the second half here.
Always.
And I'm excited for you to see. We want to talk a little bit more about our membership program. We're in the middle of our fall drive, and we really hope you all join and become our CityCast Denver neighbors. It's $10 a month or $100 a year if you go to membership.citycast.fm today. But there's so many great reasons to join, so many perks, so much good stuff that you get if you become a part of this community. And I thought we might just share some things that our people who have been joining during the campaign have been saying about what they get out of it.
Yeah, every time you guys join, you get an option to leave a little message of why you joined. Highlight of my day is reading these. I love seeing these come through. I'll start with one from Emily B., who writes, I literally call CityCast Denver, quote, my podcast. It's the least I could do. Paul just had coffee come out his nose.
A little snort.
But
I love that, Emily. That's really funny.
This is definitely something I would do too. I'm like the child who renamed cereals like to make it like
what? What are you talking about?
my
like
favorite
Captain Crunch?
No, my favorite cereal as a kid I called The Kind. Because it was just the cereal I ate was The Kind. And that is Honey Bunches of Oats, but it was just The Kind. So calling it your podcast, I relate to that on a spiritual level.
Folks, join the membership program so we can keep doing this, and Olivia can keep giving us these insights into her mind.
I can keep buying The Kind.
Let's hear another one, new member testimonial.
All right, we got one from Mark H, and he writes, "This isn't a unique sentiment. It's been a tough year. I discovered your podcast at the beginning of this year, and it's been an absolute godsend, as well as a needed daily reminder of the importance of local engagement. This is the best way for me to give back and support." Wow.
I love that.
Was this our membership campaign writing this? Like this is kind of a perfect message. This is crazy.
Thank you, Mark H.
Yeah.
That really means a lot. Sometimes I read these and I do feel a little bit emotional. I'm just so proud of this community. And I love that people are seeing what we're trying to do and joining. And it really means a lot.
It makes me think about all these forms that I've just like put random stuff in on like where you get to like give your feedback and stuff. And like, I never thought it was actually going to go to an actual person. And I'm thinking about like random stuff I wrote that maybe people like us actually read.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I probably just wrote really weird stuff. So I appreciate you guys actually saying nice and like thoughtful things.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we're part of your daily routine, if you listen to CityCast while you walk your dog or you commute to work, now is the time to show your support. Become a CityCast Denver neighbor today. It's the best way to say this work matters to me and I want it to stick around because Denver is a better place to live when CityCast exists.
And if you want a tote bag.
Join now at membership.citycast.fm. That's membership.citycast.fm. Now back to the show. You know what? We only got a couple minutes left. Let's move on to listener comments. This was an email from Kelly. So Kelly writes, "Several times on the way to my situationship, I take the Cherry Creek Trail at night. Apparently, there is a rat problem that affects businesses like Tamayo and other Larimer Square food businesses. They go wild at night. I saw a dude on a bike. It ran into his spokes, attacked my boyfriend, allegedly. I always see rats down there. The Cherry Creek needs some owls." So I did some reporting on this, but I want to know, have you ever heard about any of this?
It wouldn't surprise me if there are rats down there. I mean, those are very, very old buildings, and those are that with bad infrastructure underneath. I mean, you might have smelled some of it before all the way along that part of Cherry Creek Trail, but have not heard about rabid bats. I mean, rats going after people.
Yeah, no.
Bats, yes, probably too.
So I called Tamayo, which is so the geography is interesting because Tamayo is like right on the corner of Larimer Square, but it's actually like a half a block from the creek because there's the CU buildings there. So I was kind of surprised.
And the parking lot.
So I was kind of surprised would the rats be making it all the way over there?
Very ambitious rats.
Could be. But I called Tamayo and I talked to their GM who hung up on me as soon as I said the word rats, of course.
Any restaurant is going to probably hang up as soon as you say rat.
Exactly. So I got the same response from the guy who owns Huckleberry Roasters. He was like, I sometimes see them when I'm biking on the trail, but never at the restaurant. John in Bergamo, who does PR for Rioja, just down the street, he said they never had any problems. But then I talked to Jacqueline Bonanno, the Bonanno Group, of course.
Asterio Marco in Larimer Square.
They still are there. Oh, okay. So that's interesting. She told me they, in 15 years on Larimer Square, she's encountered a rat one time. Cockroaches, yes. Mice, also yes. These buildings are a century old. Their basements are in what was once a riverbed. All businesses have to be on top of pest mitigation, but rats, no way. And same from the city. I talked to the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure. They said they have never received any complaints about this, but they are going to send some investigators over to check it out.
Okay, well, you have to remember that the Bonanno Group, too, that was a basement, the Russells.
The Green Russell.
So that was down in the basement, too. These are just really old areas, but I think The restaurants are so careful about cleanliness, you're not going to see things above. But I'm sure there are old tunnels down there that drain probably into Cherry Creek.
Yeah.
That could be Rat House.
Well, I didn't see any. I was walking down around there. I didn't see any either. I wasn't really there at dusk, so I guess maybe they come out at night, but I didn't see any big infestation.
Well, I certainly haven't heard about it, and you would think we would.
I would think so too, especially there. Have you heard anything about the Larimer Square owners, the new owners?
Asana?
Asana, who are talking about redeveloping and investing in those buildings?
Well, they certainly have. I mean,
Yeah.
that's one of the interesting things. They are not great communicators, no question about that, but they also did put up the money they said they were going to. Lots of deferred maintenance, much worse than they thought it was when they bought into Larimer Square from the last owner. And I'm no fan of how they've not communicated with people. But they certainly put in the money. And if you look, the scaffolding's down.
Yeah.
These are 150-year-old buildings that are going to last.
Yeah, it does look nice. And they're all mostly full. And there's that new Western wear shop, Ariat over there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another thing they're teasing. They have like some walls up. And they're putting some new vendor or some food hall or something in there.
Yeah, they've got some
Cool.
they've got some local still, which
Uh-huh.
is good. Really, in the beginning, Larimer Square didn't have a lot of local restaurants. You know, we had like Pour La France and things like that. But now they are definitely going back to kind of a mix, which is great. But it was a tough couple of years, and you lost a lot of vendors, and some of the restaurants just left because of these grandiose plans. And you might remember there was the grander plan before Asana bought it, which was going to put it almost like in a cavern, with giant
Pop the
buildings
tops.
behind it. And that was completely shot down. And I think that was one of the reasons it was sold by the Hermanson Group. But Asana stepped in. So far, they're doing things over on Platt Street now, too.
Oh, interesting.
So that's going to be interesting to watch which businesses
Street.
make it.
Platt Street's coming up. There's a lot of action over there right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, more to talk about for another show. Listeners, if you see a pest infestation you want us to look into, let us know. We want to hear about it. 720-500-5418. Again, call anytime. The CityCast Denver hotline is open. Leave us a text. Leave us a voicemail, 720-500-5418. Patty Calhoun, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, my pleasure.
See you next time. Hey, I'm back with producer Olivia Jewell-Love, the end of the show, for one last reminder about our fall membership campaign. This is the last week. We really have some pretty serious goals. We want to hit them. We're not there yet. We really need you to hit these goals. Now is the time to join the membership program.
It is. And we will stop bugging you after
Soon.
you join.
For
After
a
you
while.
I swear.
But honestly, I hear from people they want ways to do this. If anything, I think I know this is lifting. Let's go behind the curtain a little bit on strategy for how this kind of stuff works. But our competitors are relentless about this, and our fans, our listeners, like they tell me, I want to support what you do. I want to help. I know how hard it is to do the work that you do. I know how little the ad dollars are bringing in right now. So please, give me a way. And the membership is that answer. This is the way for you to say, this matters to me and I want it to stick around.
It's also not for nothing. You get a lot of cool stuff out of it. And it's also way better than a big pop-up in your face. It's just us.
It's just us.
We're here saying, hey.
Real people.
And mailing you a tote bag and giving you an ad-free podcast and inviting you to cool stuff to hang out with us.
And maybe you're going to win that gift card. Go out for a fancy dinner on Banana Concepts.
Maybe you bring me. No, JK. You could.
I mean, you could send the invitation.
You could.
The invitation would be considered.
I would consider it greatly.
And that's very nice of you to do. So join today at membership.citycast.fm. Again, that's membership.citycast.fm. It's $10 a month, and it's the best way to say CityCast Denver matters to me. Join now. Thank you. See you, Olivia.
Bye.
That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. If you enjoyed the show, why not take a minute to tell gubernatorial candidate Joshua Rodriguez about us? Rate the show wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe to our morning newsletter and learn more about us at denver.citycast.fm. And thanks so much to our new neighbors who just joined during our fall membership drive. Emily B., Mike W., Kelly M., Matt M., Caitlin S., William S., Sarah F., Tay D., Alex P., John E., a.k.a. the Colfax Kid. Shout out, John. Tina M., Lindsay B., Bradley L., and Paige S. Thank you all so much for joining. You can support the show and get great perks, even more perks now during the drive, by becoming a CityCast Denver neighbor today at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. See you then. Second take was a vastly superior take. Please don't play anyone the first take. Second take,
Members only?
please.
Members only content?
The first take will be in the members only feed.